Number 1, urine back in the medieval period. Urine had a great reputation as it was believed to have cleansing and healing properties. So naturally it was used as a plague cure, finally a remedy I can afford. Anyone who contracted the disease was recommended to take a bath with pure urine to alleviate some of the painful symptoms. Urine was collected from healthy people and sold to the sick, where it was added to bath water or better yet, consumed directly from a glass. But if I had lived at that time, I could never bring myself to participate in such a disgusting and humiliating practice by buying from a middleman, as I always said that drinks are best straight from the tap. Number 7. The asthma theory, one of the most popular theories of the time, was that the plague could be contracted by breathing in bad air, or more simply, bad smells. The long list of these bad smells included organic and human waste, rotting flesh, contaminated water, and of course, the Dutch. Number 2 is the vicarious method. The vicarious method was named after Thomas. Vicarious method was named after Thomas Vicarious, English doctor, who invented this technique, and it would become one of the most popular treatments during the plague, which first begins with a healthy chicken having its rear end plucked out, and then place it directly on a sick person's tamburini and strap it down to hold it in place. The logic behind this method was based on the belief that chickens breathe through the back of their bodies, so, in theory, it sucks up and absorbs disease from humans. And if a chicken gets the plague from a human and starts to get sick, people often take this as a sign that it is working, that the remedy is working. If the chicken dies before the human, another chicken simply takes its place. Now I can only speculate as there is not much written about this, but it seems like a reliable way to get an infection. You see, the buboes often grow so big that they burst. Number 3 is bloodletting. This was an extremely popular medical procedure that was used from ancient times, right up until the late 19th century. This procedure was so popular that in the medieval period it was often the first thing a doctor recommended. This absolute nightmare began with a person's arms being cut open and allowed to bleed out into a bowl. Now, if the cut on your arm made you uncomfortable, don't worry, as you always had the option of making a cut on your neck. Instead, now the instruments used to cut patients look like this, but are simply covered in the previous patient's blood as sanitation, was not really a concern at the time, which of course would have led to many patients dying from infection. But one of the most disturbing things about this procedure was the amount of blood that had to be drained, as this was common. My headache is 2 teaspoons, fever is 16 ounces, unbearable. Social anxiety that prevents you from enjoying social gatherings? Yes, that's about a gallon. Now surprisingly, doctors did not usually perform bloodletting, and this task was left to barbers, as they were much more experienced in handling razors, which is why they started placing a red stripe on the barber pole outside the building,